hospital and insurance what pays you. Where's that? My son said that right now. My son said, I want to be an athlete. Guess what? No, you're not. You're going to own the team. Why you doing it? Still got paid, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm teaching what you guys doing right now, entrepreneurship. If my mom would have taught me this, if there was a class on wealth building, I would have took 101 and 102. So, but Dr. P, no, they don't teach us. They teach us go to school, get good grades, go out in this crazy world and get a blue plate.
Good job.
We almost be related.
Yeah. Awesome. Can you see us? We're in Google Hangout. Now we're in
How do you
Google
find these
Hangout.
people that go?
I don't find them. They look at me.
You see us?
They find you?
They look at me now.
You still
when
don't
I
see
first
us?
started
We
this,
got
I
a
invited
camera.
6 people, and all 6
check
of them
over there
joined.
on the left side.
That was my mother, my brother, my auntie, my cousin,
Yeah, right there.
and we all just went on vacation.
Yeah.
We all went and just had a good time and posted our pictures on
Oh.
Facebook, and then everybody just started asking, how'd you go to Zimbabwe, Africa? You from 72nd and Morgan, Southside Chicago. What are you doing in Africa? I said, come by my house, I'll show you. I come out my house, they come out my house, I open up my little phone, and I said, if you can go anywhere in the world, that's like Hong Kong. I said, I just got back from there, free.
Can you see us now?
I mean, I'm not even supposed to show you, but I will. Look, speaking up. So right now, if I want to go to Hong Kong, I can go to Hong Kong. April 6th, April 9th for $369. However, since I'm a platinum,
Go to your
I can
camera
take
to it over there
$180
on
off
that
that cash.
column
How
right
much
there.
is the Hong Kong?
Around right there on the screen.
How do you make that money?
The blue dot right wrench it.
I mean, the money's off the product. So every time somebody signs up,
How's the calculator going to you?
So, and this is what's all included when I get there. It's 4 days, 3 nights in Hong Kong. I'm a platinum member. I get paid off more.
Okay.
180
Cool. All right,
points.
we figure it out. All right, cool.
They already have my
You said it
itinerary
exists,
built for me, so this is what we're gonna
You
do
can
when
see
we
us?
get there.
Yeah.
If I don't wanna do that, I don't have to. I can do whatever I want to do. But when most people go on vacation, everybody sit in the room and say, what we gonna do today?
Exactly.
But now with Dream Trip, it's already built.
Cool. All right. Okay. No, we good. No, so y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're about to do so here's what's going on today, everybody. So the agenda for today is we're going to do the Datify hack. Okay, what we're going to, as a class, look at Ashu and Eric's product, take a look at that, and then ask them the tough questions about their product. After we do that, we're going to get into your next blog post, which is going to be the Ain't No Fun blog post, which is really looking at this idea of we're going to talk about how we market the class, okay? And so the next blog post will go right into the context of how we extend the brand. I had some conversations with Tech Entrepreneurship today that I'll share with you guys. And our goal is to get the numbers up, and we need to strategize about how we're going to do that within the context of what we've been reading and creating a cool factor associated with expanding the brand, okay? So we'll get into that, get into Datify, hit them hard, then get into Ain't No Fun, and then we'll get out of here. Okay? All right, Ashu and Eric, the floor is yours.
Yep.
And Austin's online, so you can hear us too. So Austin, if you hear us and you got questions.
Hey, Austin.
Okay. He's on. Yeah. For some reason, he said, for some reason the broadcast that y'all are using doesn't allow me to talk or act, but I can see and hear. Okay. Okay. That's what he just said.
All right, I see.
Okay. Okay.
We can see a laptop screen.
Yeah.
That will, yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
All right. So what is Databox by Datify? I've handed all of you guys a brochure to see it, but for Austin, I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit more.
Can you send him? Can you email him
A brochure? Yeah, absolutely.
Send him one right now.
All right. I can do
Okay.
that.
So it's Austin. So it's Curry, Curry.
Just give me a second. I can open my mail.
Okay, so while you're doing that, I'll start going off.
Sure.
You grab this. Grab this. No, you can't read that from that screen. The screen is too low res. Anyways, so yeah, this is called the data box. So what this does is you connect this to your router. It can be a business router, personal router, anything. And then what it does is it figures out how you work. It figures out what works for you, what doesn't work. So for example, you can see here, you can see how much you're talking with people. how many times you're talking to your customers, and then how many sales you're closing. So see, on Monday, even though you're talking to a lot of customers, you're not closing many sales. So why might you be talking to people but not closing your sales? So you might be talking, you might have a lot of people messaging on Monday, but like not many of them are signing up with you. So you're like, oh, how can I get more of them to sign up with me on Monday? Even though, so I'm talking a lot with them, but I'm not getting that many deals closed. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can boost your productivity, get your customers more engaged, and market it better. Do you think that?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to go off now?
Yeah, sure. So what we're really looking at Datify is business systems and data-driven business systems. In today's day and age, real-time data is available. Like as you can see, there's a direct correlation between the online communication and the sales closed. This device can tell you that. And then we can come out with smart strategies from decades of research of why the productivity is low on Monday and why it's so high on Friday, and what can be done to improve online communication on Monday or Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to boost it even more. You can see a direct correlation with the number of sales closed. I tried using the data box on me, in my house. I literally just installed the device in my house, and I took my roommate's written consent, and we started running the data box. So now my roommate is a 48-year-old lady who works at the pawn shop selling things and giving loans, and at the same time she used to clean banks. And she also did online shopping. Like she was an online salesperson. She was an entrepreneur. She is an entrepreneur. So what this device let us do is that I got this graph at the end of the week, seeing that she was slowly and steadily improving in her online sales. And what we realized is that if she quit her bank job, that's cleaning a bank, and she hates it. If she quit that job and she actually spent more time learning about how to sell things better online, she would actually make more money than going to cleaning the bank. She did it. She quit her job and just spent time learning or taking this Coursera course on how to sell better. And now she's making 30% more money than she was at the bank by drinking beer and just chilling out, watching television and selling things online. Mm-hmm. So it's a really useful product, and it's leveraging something called the Internet of Things. Now the Internet of Things is a big market, and when people look at this, they're like, oh, it's just productivity, it's efficiency, great, we're making things better. But how much better? And I'll give you a small example of this. We make it better by a lot. So according to a TED Talk, an average nurse an average American nurse in all the hospitals over America spends 21 minutes finding his or her equipment every day when you add the total time. If you were able to reduce that time from 21 minutes to 20 minutes just by 1 minute, if you made all nurses in America more efficient by just 1 minute, how much money do you guys? How much money do you think they'll save? The U.S. economy will save. $1 million, 10 million max. How much? Just 1 minute.
20 million.
20 million. $1 billion. What do you think?
$1 billion, yeah.
$1 billion. Well, the answer.
Can I guess? 60 billion.
Yes, that's the right answer. It's 60 billion by just 1 minute. That's the amount of impact that we can create.
And that you saying that's just with nurses, or that's
this is
overall?
Just with the nurses.
So the way that we could imagine this happening is the Internet of Things has all these sensors. So when you get these smart tools in hospitals, and you can track where they are better so that they know where the things are. They'll be able to find them more quickly.
Right.
And this will keep track of where everything is because it can communicate with these smart devices. So it just has a cheap little sensor implanted in it, and then we can keep track of where everything is and help them find their things faster. So the hospitals that could do it, you can see more than a minute decrease.
More than a minute, we predict like a good 9 to 10 minutes. Because if suppose they have like an RFID chip in the stethoscope, right? And we see that on an average, every nurse in the hospital is spending a good 3 or 4 minutes just to find the stethoscope. Like that's the bottleneck of efficiency. Then we just simply ask the hospital to have like a table or a rack where everybody hangs their stethoscopes. So nobody forgets them. Oh, I forgot my stethoscope. It must be on the rack. It's just a very simple system, but it saves a lot of money. And what we're targeting with this product too is this B2B. So it's for business applications. Now, 65% of the American population is employed by small businesses since 1995, and 87% of these businesses use some sort of cloud technology or internet in some way. That all the employees use internet, have internet access. If the medical sector, which is not 65% of the US economy, can contribute 60 billion every year, how much do you think if every business had this and everything was becoming efficient, data-drivenly, how much money as an economy could we save? We can't even begin to comprehend that. According to estimates, the IoT would be a $7.1 trillion industry just by 2020, in 5 years. It's that big, the market. And the value we provide for each business is tremendous. You can see like insights. Like I could literally see how drinking more coffee was actually decreasing my productivity than increasing it. I would have no idea that that was even a factor in my productivity if it wasn't for this tool. It's going to show you magical relationships. And it's one of the inspirations that I got was from Steve Jobs, Pixar. You know how Pixar is designed, the headquarters of Pixar? The world's most successful animation studios when Steve Jobs was there. I don't know if it is right now, but it was the world's most successful animation studios, if it's not anymore. And Steve Jobs built this headquarters because he knew that communication between people is pivotal. So he built the headquarters in a way like a maze. So the CEO, if he wants to go to the bathroom, there are 5 different ways, different paths he can take to go to the bathroom. Whichever, and for other employees, it's the same way. Like there are several paths to go to one place. So depending on what path you take, you keep bumping into other employees. So the CEO has to bump into the janitor, or the janitor will bump into the CFO, and they'll talk, and they'll meet, and there'll be new ideas. There'll be new creativity. That's why Pixar was the world's. That was one of the secrets why Pixar was so creative. Because the janitor met the CEO knows what the janitor's name is. The janitor feels like he's going to come to the work, changing the world, because he literally gets to talk to the CEO, and he says that, hey, you know what, I don't like this. Hey, the CEO asks him how your day is going. That's a big morale booster. You know, everyone in the company is heard, and at random times and random places. And we're building a data-driven tool to do that. To facilitate, to show those connections, to show those magical connections that people have with each other, and how you can leverage on them, how you can improve them, you know, and how a company can evolve as an organism. And because most of our competitors who are doing things, firstly, we don't think we have anyone using a hardware and a software solution to tackle this problem like the way we are. But the ones who are tackling it with software just don't understand one thing. The company is not only about profit. A big part of the company is about profits and productivity. But there is more to a company. A company is an organism. It has many moving parts. just by boosting the productivity of the employee does not mean that I'm getting more money in my pocket or the company is doing better. So we want to take into consideration all the moving parts of the company. It's like an organism growing. It's like an infant growing into it's like a small sapling growing into a big tree. And we want to measure how it's growing and what can be done better to give it the best conditions to grow under.
Okay, Austin has said a couple of things. So why don't you wrap up your part and then let's go into questions.
Absolutely. That's what I have to say. The brochures are in front of you. Please completely tear us apart.
Okay, so let me start with Austin's questions.
Sure.
So he said he's checking it out. He said, what is the tech driving the features the box has? Is it just a storage device with lots of complex macros and pivotal tables installed on it? And then secondly, he said he's also unsure how they will tap into the Internet of Things potential unless they're able to have their users wear tracking sensors or put them on any objects used on a regular basis, i.e. like tile.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you address those two things? First of all, what is the technology that's driving it? And then how do you address this issue with the internet tapping into the Internet of Things?
Yeah, sure.
What do you mean by the second question?
You got a restaurant down?
Yeah, right there. Yep. So,
What's the
right
second question?
there, yep.
How is our technology tapping into the Internet of Things? I could address the second question.
Take that camera and turn it this way, Will.
I could address the second question.
Okay.
So how does this tie into the how does this tie into the Internet of Things?
Yeah.
One simple answer is that it uses network analysis.
Okay.
So everything that's on your Wi-Fi is being analyzed. So if Internet of Things by definition means giving every single thing from your light bulb to your shoes an IPv6 IP address that is connected to the internet. So say I have my smartwatch on me and it's connected to the Wi-Fi. You know what? We're going to analyze metadata for your smartwatch as well. So that's how it ties up to the Internet of Things. You get a smart refrigerator and you install it and you connect it to your Wi-Fi. We can analyze that as well. So it's a product that as long as it's connected to the internet, we can analyze that. So that's directly tied into the Internet of Things. And what is the technology?
So I have an insight into the technology side. So one central aspect of our device is a concept called edge analytics. So edge analytics means that the analysis is done on the device itself. So most analytics companies currently are tapping into the cloud. So they take your data from your office and then they send it up to the cloud where it gets analyzed and then it gets sent back to you. So many people have a problem with this because of data privacy and security issues. So edge analytics keeps, where's the device? Can you pass me one of the devices?
Yep, sure.
So edge analytics keeps your data on this device. This device analyzes it, tells you about it, never leaves your office. Your data is private and secure with us. So that is one thing that we're doing differently with our tech. And then you were going to say something else about that?
Yeah, also all the information on that is protected by hardware cryptography. So if a malicious hacker was supposed to could break into the device and try to get the information, it's useless because the cryptography is built in the hardware. By the cybersecurity expert at Uptake, which is a unicorn company in Chicago, we had a pleasure of talking to them. They said that hardware if you're going with hardware cryptography, that's the safest bet that the IT system today can promise you.
And these software-only solutions, so having an app or a API or something like that on your computer where you don't have a standalone device, you can't use hardware cryptography. You just can't. Hardware is inherently more secure than software.
As in, the combination of hardware and software security is what we're looking at. We want to assure anonymity of privacy, and we also using HIPAA laws. So it's as your information is as safe as it is with your doctor-patient confidentiality. So as your information is safe with your doctor, they're bound by contract to not say anything, and they can be sued for it. At the same way, we are protecting our privacy through normative ways under the HIPAA constraints. So it's that safe.
Okay. All right.
Anybody else?
Next question.
Yeah, so is the primary reason you're doing it through hardware just because of the security, or does it provide any other capabilities?
It provides more capabilities for the software. So firstly, we are very serious about software. We are very, very serious about our software. And Alan King, guys can look it up, had this quote saying, people who really care about software build their own hardware.
So that's like Apple. So the reason why Apple has better performance than other brands of laptops is because they build the hardware themselves. Everything is Apple, manufactured by them. Whereas other companies outsource their parts, they buy them from other manufacturers and stuff. So the software just does not work as well because the hardware is not meant for the software. When you build the hardware and purposely build the hardware for the software you're going to make, it just works much better, which is why Macs run much smoother than Dells.
And another big reason, other than hardware cryptography, and that caused you extremely serious about your software, is that it will capture more data than a software-based solution can ever imagine. It can so if I needed for a purely software-based solution, I need to install thousands of a bunch of software on each and every employee's computer. What about the smartphone? They'll have to install an app. What about the iPad? They have to install an app over there. And then you have to sync all the data on a cloud, which is not secure at all in any way, shape, or form. With this device, you don't have to do any of that. No apps, nothing. You just bring this off. There are 3 steps to installing this device. You get it. Step 1, you get the device. Step 2, you connect it with to a router with an Ethernet cable. Step 3, there is no step 3. That's all you have to do. And then you go to a link on your browser. It's the IP address of the device. You just type that on your browser, press enter, and it will show you the dashboard. That's literally all you have to do.
Next question. Hold on.
Sure.
I was gonna say, so if you have your own web app that they have to log in through anyways, how would that differ from just pure software?
They do not have to have a web app.
Like, so what I'm saying is really, what is the purpose of putting this device between the router and the actual computer? You just want the encryption for security.
To get to analyze the network between the router and the Wi-Fi access point.
So
That's
this
what I'm
is
saying.
so this is put at a very like there's a thing called a gateway that goes. It's kind of like the cord, the internet cord that comes into the office per se. So it's like you have a cord coming in and all traffic goes out through it. So this device connects in and taps into that so that it can collect everything simply with one device. So instead of having to install all these apps or APIs or whatever on all computers and have them all route things together, you just do this and it does it for you. You don't have to install anything to do it.
On any device.
Right, but what I'm saying is they have software that already analyzes the network traffic. What I'm saying
Right.
is, if you were gonna do a hardware device, I would think it'd be probably better to put like whatever encryption that you're using on the USB, because if you're not gonna actually process anything on the actual modem that you're selling, it makes more sense to just
We aren't selling a modem.
or whatever router.
We aren't selling a router either.
I mean, whatever is.
It's just something that I think this is the best way to explain it. If you can look here, there's a Wi-Fi access point, right? Access point, all right, which goes a Wi-Fi access point which goes to a router, which goes to WAN.
So a WAN is like the internet.
WAN is basically the wide area network, right? And what we are doing is we are collecting information between this.
I think I know what you're asking. So
Oh,
like,
you can see.
yeah, okay. So like, what he's saying is because it's not collected directly onto the actual device, like any of the information, like you're not taking it and plugging it into another computer and pulling all the information. Why aren't you just selling the actual encryption onto a USB that could be connected to the back of the router? If you're already gonna have to go to a separate site just to actually see the information.
We're getting all the information. You don't have to go to a separate site. So,
And what this is not just collecting the data. This is analyzing the data too.
as
So
well.
this is a computer. This is the Raspberry Pi.
Okay, so it actually is taking care of everything.
It is taking
Right.
care, yeah.
Okay,
all
that's
of
where
that.
I think I got left. I think we both got lost. It's like
Oh.
the information was also getting analyzed, and then you can see.
So yeah, that's this concept of edge
Edge
analytics.
analytics.
It's a new concept because everyone is just thinking, oh, the cloud has, you can like have very, very good analytics on the cloud because you can just have a huge server and like a supercomputer because the cloud's like a supercomputer basically. So it has tremendous computing capability, but it also has its drawbacks. So we're starting to move away from that back to where you can analyze your data on this device in your office. So it collects the data, analyzes it, stays in your office, never goes to the cloud, never goes out. So your
So
data
where
is
does it-
more safe.
Where does it send the data to though?
It doesn't send the data anywhere, it keeps it within. It's analyzing the data in real time.
And then it
There's
then
no
when people-
server, there is no server. Oh, so that's why you're getting confused. You're like, which website are they gonna visit?
No, but like, how are they gonna see the information? Because if they log this, it's eventually gonna either run out of space or it's just only real time. Like, is it just gonna average everything and keep a small file of it?
So-
or-
So it's good, yeah.
Here's a good way to explain it. So it tries to condense information to like only the useful things. So for example, let's say you have a smart light bulb and it sends a ping every 5 seconds saying, I'm on, I'm on, I'm on, I'm on. Like you don't need to know that it's always on. You only need to know when it says, oh, I turned off. That's the only thing that matters. So you have it turned on, it turned off, and then the device gets rid of all that data in between. And it does that for other things too. So it condenses information only to what is useful.
And then
Eventually,
But what if I want to know how many times the light turned on within an hour?
well, yeah,
Within-
this
yeah,
is-
then
Would
you
that-
can
would
program
that-
it.
That's what because we're trying to find out where, if I'm correct, tell me,
Yeah.
where is it all? I mean, where can we see that?
Where can you see that?
So
Is it here or is it like you say? Is it a one-time live shot and it's over with, or?
No, I'll give you an example of that. So
I'm
what
sorry, Doc.
No,
no.
you're supposed to do all that. No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
you're
it's good.
supposed to do this, completely break us apart.
Brad, this is we hacking.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is, it's called like, just completely rip us apart, tell us that it's the shittiest product in the world, please.
No, I'm just,
Like,
I think we're all three on the same. We're trying to put.
So here, I know what you're asking. I can answer what you're asking. So what it is that we have a dashboard for people that you can pull up, and then so any computer that is connected to the network can draw the information from this. So it's connected. So your computer is connected to the Wi-Fi router, wherever it is.
Mhm.
So then you can send a request to the Wi-Fi router. Then the Wi-Fi router sends a request to the box. And then the box returns the information requested to the Wi-Fi router. And then it goes back to you. So we're right here. So you request information. You request information here. It goes back to the router. And then you request information here. It goes back to the router. Goes back here in the data box. And then comes back to you. What do you ask for?
So,
Without ever leaving the office. It never has to go to the internet. Like, the data never leaves this way.
So you're saying I'm logging into that box?
you're logging into
Yeah.
that box, literally.
So I use my tablet or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
and you can just
logging
log into the box. You can just say that, hey, I want to fetch information in real time from the box. And before it goes to the router, it'll come to the box and be like, oh, he's requesting access to the box. And he wants to see the real time data. And the box will send you an HTML file to your browser, which you'll be able to view in the dashboard. So you don't have to go to any website. So this box will have an IP address in 10.0 or something. And we will just give you this IP address. And all you have to do is put that IP address on your browser and press enter. So
We can just have it built in.
for a URL.
Yeah.
So we can be like, I don't know, databox .pixel.com. So whenever you do this, we can program device.
So, and networks
but-
on the LAN,
Yeah,
local area network.
local area
So
network.
I have a question about the.
You got two questions, so you got two, no, that's fine. You have two questions, with Alvarez, Will, then I'm gonna spin us around because I wanna get to the school factor associated
Sure.
with it.
Right.
But go ahead.
So you mentioned productivity earlier, about using this to track productivity. It sounds to me like the productivity you're tracking is specifically related to online traffic. So what I am doing, how much work I'm doing versus other things I might be doing online. What I'm curious about is, as a measure of productivity for a business, there's a little bit more than just online activity that I'm going to be looking at.
Right.
So how does this box intend to also track that? Because you mentioned something about like drinking coffee. Like I know how more productive I am drinking coffee. Like how does this box tell you
Right.
whether or not you're productive
So-
drinking coffee or versus not?
So that can come from, so for example, you have, like, these are all very cheap sensors. So it's not like the cost of these sensors has gone down so much, which is why the Internet of Things is coming. So you put one of them in your coffee maker, and then when you make coffee, it sends a ping to the router saying, hey, he just made coffee. So then the system knows, oh, he just had a cup of coffee, and then it can make correlations between your activity. If it sees that all of a sudden you're doing less, then it can say, oh, maybe the coffee isn't helping. But on the other hand, you do it, and then all of a sudden you're getting your work done, you're getting your numbers in, it's seeing progress, then it can determine it. And of course, there are limitations because it is online-based activity. So if you're talking to somebody face-to-face, the system can't necessarily capture that. So it's more based on the online activity.
Okay.
And anything that is connected via sensors.
Will?
So I get it, and I think you asked some great questions. We talked about security, we talked about the hardware. I understand Aint analytics. I've even been doing some quick surveying of different things about analytics in general. However, what metrics, right? So I think this kind of like expounds upon that. What metrics are you using to measure productivity? So you're talking about online activity. Is that up to, it's business to business. Is it up to me as a business owner to define what I need to use your product for, right? To kind of contextualize its purpose to what I think is important for me, or is it up to you? And if it's up to you, then what metrics are you going to use to say this is what you need to improve productivity?
I agree. And to that, I have two answers. We give both. Firstly, if you want to construe that data, like in graphs, by yourself, then we can give you that. Secondly, we're planning to tie up with the Dale Carnegie Institute of Productivity Sciences. Now, this institute has been researching on productivity for decades. And it provides you with really good metrics as to what you can do at the workplace to improve productivity.
What was the answer to the first question again? And
So yes, you have the freedom to choose your metrics if you would like. So what we can do is we can offer you a bank of choices, and then you can choose which data sources you want to use. So the business probably produces more data than you can analyze, or that would be useful to analyze. So you choose what's most relevant to you as a business, and then you can do that. Or we can have these preset things with the Dale Carnegie Institute and other research-based things on productivity.
We got another question.
So I mean, because you're going to start off with you got a product in hand, right?
Yeah.
You talked about how you used it with a roommate, correct?
Yes.
Moving forward, like who's going to be, or what industry will you target first? It's business to business, but there are different types of businesses. So who do you all intend to target first? Who's that customer, that first customer, that first set of customers?
And that's why I'm gonna get to that now. So,
Oh, dude, I'm gonna blow your mind in a minute.
here's what Austin said. Austin said, he said, this idea has huge potential. I want them to know that, and not think they're doing poorly because people are asking hard questions. They need concrete examples so people can understand quickly. This is one of those things that people, i.e. business owners, need but don't know they need it yet. They should be putting prototypes in the hands of entrepreneurs all over campus so they can quickly reference examples anyone can comprehend. Your pitch needs work, but the device, wow. So that goes right into now the cool factor part that I'm talking about. And so as Alvarez, I mean, as Dwayne is here and as Austin is here, what I want you guys to be thinking about is he's told you how many people he hits.
Yeah.
5,000 strong.
Yeah.
Why is this cool for them to use? That's number one. Number two, Austin is Ford. Why should Ford be thinking about this device, and how would that be applicable within the context of the automobile industry and anything else they're into?
Absolutely.
Okay, these are the things these are the sweet spots that we got to find in terms of the cool factor. I'm gonna stop there and let Dwayne say what he got to say, and then we're gonna wrap.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you this. They're not going to have to market this thing here. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. If you don't know, they probably know. In roughly about 5 to 10 years, the United States of America is going to be able to track everything we do. Within the next 6 months, I'll probably come before you and I will show you. They're going to be able to tell you how many times I visit Starbucks. They're going to be able to tell you how many times I go to Walmart. Because if you look at your new credit card that's coming out right now, it's a chip already in them. What he said is something very important, and just almost ran out the door. You're going to be able to put a chip on. You use coffee. When I went to the and I just dumped $10,000 in this company I just showed Doc. They're going to be able to put chips on your television and tell you your productivity, how much time you watch television. When you said all this, guys, I walked in like I just literally left Las Vegas.
Time is the new currency.
Yeah.
So it is. It is. And if you can save an individual just 1 minute, that's why when you're saying $60 billion, I'm aware of all that. That's huge.
Huge.
You know, I'm going to agree with what Austin said. I think you guys are a little nervous because we're banging you to death. But you guys are doing a phenomenal job. And this little thing right here, you're not going to have to market it much because people are going to search you guys out. People are going to search you out. It's a credit card that's about to have. I have it in my hand in about 6 months. I have it in my hand. And it's a credit card that will have every card that I own, and it's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and I'll be able to get it.
Is that called coin?
You seen it?
Yeah, well, then we can swipe through it and tell you which credit card you want to use.
Oh, coin?
Yeah,
As in coin?
No, it's not coin.
It can change the magnetic strip to match the credit card you want to use. That way you don't have to carry
It
6 or
has,
7.
and you can log it to your computer. I actually have. Damn, I just did. I call my partner right now and they tell me the name of it. Where even for tax purposes, I don't have to keep receipts anymore. Every time I swipe it, it sends it to my computer. It sends the ding to my computer, and it tracks everything. At the end of the year, I just print it out and give it to my tax preparer. I'm just telling you guys right now, I just need a business card because I just want to be part. I want in.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is because this right here, this you're gonna whoever joins force, whoever has the big bucks, he's gonna tell you the design sucks. It sucks. I got confused in the beginning, but then when you start hitting things that I'm familiar with, and he heard it probably several times, I was confused with why didn't you do it USB, you know? And then the more you start talking, I'm like, okay, you guys gotta figure out how to put that all together.
Right.
You know, you guys are on something. I'm just gonna tell you, I want in, even if I don't even use the box. I just put it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so
Absolutely, that's great for us.
promoting wise, getting it out. I mean, I have a team in Zimbabwe. I have teams, like I said, in 5 different countries. That's nothing.
That's awesome.
It's just being able to say, well, me, hey doc, man, I'm using this box, man, it's phenomenal. We need to do it.
Awesome.
And that's
So,
it.
we had a question.
Well, this is to kind of reassert what Austin said, and again, it's also reasserting what he said, right? I mean, you're gonna have to sell this to folks. IBM just published a study back in 2014 about maybe you know this, maybe you don't, about mid-sized businesses, mid-sized to large businesses, not knowing that they need business intelligence.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's already, and so he said that earlier about it being difficult to sell, right? Understanding the cool. So that's going to be something major that you got to get out the way. So, you know, so cats can just get through it and understand why it's viable and why it's needed and why it's desirable, right? Because if it's, generally speaking, if it's hard to sell analytics, it's definitely gonna be hard to sell this. You know
I
what I'm saying?
completely agree, and that's why the first tagline of a brochure says, "Leverage the Internet of Things or get left behind." Literally, that's what.
Like, I don't know. I don't remember the name of it because I'm not an Apple. I mean, I don't have Apple products. You know, I think Apple's only good enough to hold the Windows. But I'm sorry. Like Apple came out with this thing. My fraternity brother just bought it. It was like $5,000. As soon as he walked in his house, it grabs everything from his phone to his computer and automatically packs it up. I think that's cool. I don't know. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
But that right there, people buy that because it's cool.
Yeah.
And you know, it's ugly as heck, but it's cool. So that's what you're saying. Like, you know, the analysts.
Getting into, I think, the explanation, what I would say is like, you have people who understand the tech and when you describe its features.
Right.
But then you're gonna have people who need to, you need to walk them through what it would be like to own it.
Right.
So,
Yes.
so paint me a picture, because I kept thinking, like,
Mhm.
if you tell me that it's running, like you used it in your home, I want to see that date. Like, show me that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see show me your week,
Mhm.
you and your roommate. I want to see the dashboard, and show me what data you chose to collect.
Sure.
And how, what that's all about. Because I need to be able to, and I think this would be for anybody who isn't already deeply into the network and understanding it and things. I need to be able to see myself what it would be like to use it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So paint that picture.
That's why we tried showing you the dashboard that we have right now on the brochure. That's the online communications and how that closely ties. And you had a very good question that says, what about the stuff that's not connected to the internet? Can we measure that? Right now, no. But you know what? The net analysis tells you a lot about productivity. Like when I started running this at my house, the stuff that it told me about me I didn't even do this online. And I realized why coffee? Because I always research on coffee. How I came to know coffee was a problem because I bought a whole bag of coffee from Amazon. And I was like, hey, I'm drinking too much coffee. I'm going to the bathroom every 40 minutes. So whenever I'm working online on Google Docs, I pause it and I go to the bathroom and then come back. So I'm like, oh, 20 minutes. Sorry, I'm going to the bathroom every 20 minutes. The device is telling me that I'm going to the bathroom every 20 minutes.
You lose money until you take a piss.
I'm like, I'm losing money every time I take a piss. And I'm like, what is the reason that I'm going to the bathroom so much? And then it showed up top result, Amazon. I buy coffee all the time. I'm like, it's because I drink 6 cups of coffee a day. And then the moment it started cutting it down, I wasn't wasting money going to the bathroom. And I was less anxious, didn't procrastinate, and was a lot more
So
productive.
that's the thing you would need to show, like that story, that anecdotal
Yes.
evidence as well.
But it tells you a lot. Like data mining and big analytics will tell you a lot. You can tell whether a person owns guns with network analysis. The amount of information you can tell is huge.
So we're gonna stop there. Okay. And I'm gonna provide a summation.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, everyone.
Yes. Yeah. So a couple things. Number one, and I have to triangulate this, meaning that we're coming back from 3 different sources empirically that's saying the same thing. Is you guys, why do you choose business when there are so many privacy big brother issues with business? That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's think about that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you've heard that from Pixel folks. You've heard that in a lot of different areas.
Absolutely.
So that's I think that's a pain area for you that you got to figure out.
Yes.
So the cool factor to me is like the strength of this is again this time management and productivity based on time, and that's the strength of the product is assisting people with how they use their time. That's the selling point to me.
Right.
And so when you have Dwayne here, and he says that just on his team, he got 5,000 folks that he can impact.
Yeah.
That ain't including all the other folks that got teams too.
Right.
And if they respect his hustle, you can't never knock the hustle.
Yeah.
And so again, this is about how a tool that you created a tool to help folks show that time management, how time is used is going to make a difference in terms of financial outcomes.
Outcomes.
That's the sweet spot and the
Yes.
selling point and the cool factor I think within the context. So I think you guys need to do some work in that area and keep building. I think we need to revisit this again by the end of the semester and kind of see how you brought all of this together within that particular context.
Absolutely.
With the feedback that we've done.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna take 5 minutes real quickly to go over the annual fund blog post is coming. So you guys didn't have a blog last week because if you saw in the reading, we were done with the big payback, History of the Business of Hip Hop, exceptional book. You gotta read it. Because it deals with every big deal that was done in hip hop, every last one, and the behind the scenes. Okay, I got it. Now I had a meeting with, we were trying to figure out in tech entrepreneurship. They just told me that the BS just got passed. So you can get a BS degree, or I get a dual degree. In engineering, I get a C in CS or engineering, but then a BS in leadership and entrepreneurship, okay? And so Jed was telling me that they're going to have hip hop offerings in it, which means like this course and others that they want to see come out of this. So now, what I get pushed back on with them is because the numbers are low this semester. They said, we want to offer the course in the spring. I told them, no, it needs to be offered in the fall. I said, we're picking up momentum. I said, and you guys understand that the engineering campus is a very insular place. Most folks don't even know that our campus-wide that you can take engineering classes or even tech entrepreneurship classes. Everybody thinks that you got to be part of that campus in order to get access to the classes. So there's a whole cultural shift that we're going up against, and they need to provide some resources to get that done. So what I share with them is like, no, you guys need to offer the course in the fall. I said, that's what we're moving towards. I said, and we're working towards on how to market the course and make certain we get more students involved and interested in the class and get them in. We know that evening times doesn't work within this particular context because it's dinner time and is all, and this time we did it off campus. The goal is to move this on campus during the day, probably like around 1 o'clock is what I'm thinking. What I want to know with you, we're going to talk about this whole idea, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none in the context of the blog, right? Which means how do we create this culture around hip hop entrepreneurship? I took a look at the course description that I wrote. It's totally different than the original one I wrote. It took all the cool factor out of the class. I'm like, this is so whitewashed, it's ridiculous. It needs to go back. This is about the cool factor. So what we know is hip hop. Now, Jed told me this is very interesting. He said during the vote for the BS degree in the Senate, he said someone stood up and said, I don't know why you guys are voting for this, for getting this degree, because they have crazy courses. Like, what is this hip hop entrepreneurship class? Silly stuff like that. I said, you know what? I said, I don't care. I said, you're going to always have naysayers. But you can't deny that Apple just bought Dr. Dre for that's a $175 billion company that spent money on getting a guy from the streets to help them market their product and create a cool factor in their business. I said, so you're going to always have naysayers, but that naysayer will be working for us. Okay, so let's be clear on that. So you can always have folks like that are traditional in scope. I said, it's not just him. I said, I've been in all black colleges and they've said the same thing. So it doesn't matter. We are entrepreneurs. That's what we do. We change the game. We're game changers. So naysayers be what they may, we still got to get these numbers up. So this next blog post is going to be about you guys from your own perspectives, writing about and putting a plan together on how we're going to push this class and make certain that we get the numbers out and get these numbers rolling and create a culture around this thing, because this is about changing the game and changing the culture of U of I within the context of what we just went through here, who's in the room here and who's not in here. I even explained to them, I said, look, with them hiring Lovie Smith, I said, make no mistake why they hired Lovie Smith. I said, he's a winning NFL coach as well as collegiate course. I said, but they're also very clear that the black students down at University of Missouri disrupted some money, and they're afraid that same culture could happen here, which means they're also going to be asking the questions, where are the access points for students of color, and why aren't there more representation in engineering, entrepreneurship, and things like that? I said, and don't you guys want to be ahead of the curve when they start looking at where are the examples of things that are cool, that are going right, that we can build on within that particular context. And I'm going to talk to Dr. Anderson, who is the head person that now is the president's liaison for making certain these type of initiatives of access are there to show him what we're doing. And then he can be the one to talk about that. I said, so politically we'll get on that. I said, but the reality is this is truly dollars and cents. And our goal is to say, hey, let's get these numbers up. So let's do our due diligence to get the numbers up and get the culture and change the game within the context of what we know how to do. So I'm gonna put it all in context, as I did with the last blog postings, and I want you to respond to the questions as I write them from your own perspective areas, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, any questions? All right. All right, Austin, we're up for today. If you got any questions for me, make sure you send me a post. Did you guys, is everybody tied into Ghetto Genius Fab Lab and got your time in and you're getting there?
Who am I supposed to see?
This week, when are folks going?
You see me tomorrow, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Okay. Hello, when are you?
And,
I'm going on Friday.
Fridays? Okay, cool. Will, when are you? Are you?
no, Will's Monday.
Mondays you work with Widow. Mondays, okay, cool. All right, cool. All right. We rolling.
That's the next
All
year,
right,
but you can stay tuned.
cool. All right.
He's
Okay.
got a business card.
Yeah, out of my car. I have a car. What did I just do?
Please have a pamphlet with you.
All right, Austin.
And thanks a lot, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. Where did you get your business cards? Because we've been meaning to get some, just never got around to it.
I know I'm going,
We need you all